The most frequently asked question that I've been getting is how do I market and grow my real estate media agency? So if that sounds like something you might need to hear as well, this video is for you. If you don't know me, my name is David Stultz. I have a real estate media agency here in Maine. We're 15 people locally and overseas, and now I'm working to help coach other agency owners grow in their agencies. If you're interested in coaching, send me a DM on Instagram. But for now, let's jump into some brutally honest advice for marketing your agency. So I'm calling this brutal advice because sometimes there are things in here I think that we all need to hear, even if we don't want to hear them. So this is some real honest advice. The best, most honest advice is at the end of the video here, but I've got a few points I want to cover before we get to that. I think we all fall into one of these three camps. You either don't know these marketing tactics, you don't know what you should be doing to market yourself. You know these things and you don't need clients at the moment, which I can respect, and I think that's a very real position to be in where you can't keep up with the growth. But I also think most of us are probably in this third phase where we know these things, we just aren't doing them. And I've got a lot of advice for people in that camp here. And you might be in this boat for some of these reasons. You might be scared of rejection. You might have some imposter syndrome. You just picked up a camera for the first time. You've never done it before. That was me. I never owned a camera before starting my agency. So I can relate to that. You've already tried marketing. You've done it before. It hasn't worked. I'm just going to get to it later. It's really not interesting to you, so you're really not doing it very much. Agents should already know about me. That could fall in the camp of I've already tried, right? You think people should know, why bother continuing to market? Or this is just not my thing. I think this is the most dangerous one. We'll talk about that, but I think those third people probably fit into that category for that reason. But if you don't know these things, let's jump into this one because I think this is really good for us all to review. For me personally, it really helps when I can go back, think at a high level, and break it down piece by piece. Back to basics. Marketing is the entire process of creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society, focusing on understanding needs, building relationships, and driving sales through strategies like advertising, branding, digital campaigns, and market research. So I think this is so interesting. And I think we could all probably relate to this building relationships piece and communicating. That stands out to me too. It's the entire process of that. So anyways, understanding needs, things like that. This is all marketing. It's a big thing. It's not just posting a video. Marketing is a very dynamic process. I think this breaks down first into 2 points. You've got your offer and you've got the connect and communicate piece. So basically, when you're advertising, you're telling them about something, and then you also have the piece of communicating that thing you're trying to tell them about. Your offer. So first, you have to consider, is your thing good enough? And I hate to say it, but if you are sending out messages, hey agent, here's some photos, this is what I can do, do you want to work with me, schedule here. If your photos aren't good enough, they will not want to work with you. That's just the reality of it. If your videos aren't good, they're not going to want to work with you. And if your communication is poor, if anything that they can see about you online isn't exactly, it doesn't scream value, doesn't scream I want to work with this person, or this isn't quality, they're not going to want to work with you. And I think this is the first piece that we have to look at. It's not worth spending a lot of time on marketing if the thing you're trying to tell them about, your offer, isn't good enough. Now, we'll break this down further, but I think your offer is, one, your promotion. If you're saying, hey, free photos or free videos or free photos for life, which you wouldn't do, but that's the promotion. Then I think the other piece is, what are you offering at large? What does your agency do? Is it obvious? Do you offer more value than another agency out there? So I think that is all of your offer. I guess we could break this down into offer and promotion. This can really look like, what does your portfolio look like? If they click on your page, what are they going to see? Is this impressive to them? Do they want to work with you? What's your online persona like? People want to work with people they like. If your persona isn't strong, or if it's not existent, they might say no. Can they book quickly? If you're saying, hey, I'd love to work with you, have you given them a link to say, click here, schedule today? If they have to hunt for it, I promise they'll probably take 10 seconds, unless your offer is outstanding, and they'll probably just pass. What is your value? Even if you're offering a free set of photos, a free set of 10 listings of free photos, if they look at your business and your agency and who you are, and they don't see that there's true value there to be at least as good, if not better, than who they're currently using, there's probably not enough value to get them to switch over to using your free thing, your promo, or just your services as a whole. So that's the offer. Now let's talk about how we communicate that offer, how we connect with people, how we build relationships. Honestly, a big piece of this video is it's not rocket science. It's simple, and there's nothing new under the sun in terms of a new way to convince someone to work with you. So these are the ways. These are some, the 4 basic ways. You have in person, you meet someone, hey, how's it going? Text and call. Great to get someone on the phone. A text can be great too. Email, this is getting hard. I know personally, I get tons of emails every day that are spam, or not spam, but they're just general cold outreaches that have no substance, and I just delete them. I'm so sick and tired of it. So if you're doing that to agents, you really have to set yourself apart with what you're saying in that email. Next is social media. I want to break these down because you have these 3 here. These are one-to-one. You can only connect with one person at one time. I guess this might be email, it might be one-to-many if you're sending out just a general cold email to an email list, which I don't really recommend. But generally, these are one-to-one. You're talking to one person at a time. But the benefit of social media is that it's a one-to-many platform. And that's one reason it's so powerful. Let's look at this. Social media is powerful because it's that one-to-many platform. It's a platform to grow an audience. You can have one follower, but as that grows, one message can talk to hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of people at once. That's a powerful thing. You are building trust. When you are talking about who you are, your convictions, your values, why you do certain things, and even just being yourself, that comes across and that builds a relationship with a person on the other side. Again, a one-to-many building trust is you can't really do that any other way besides social media, unless you're speaking on stage or something like that. As you do this, this really compounds. For me, I would get on and I would make these videos when I got started with little tips and advice for agents. And I would be on site shooting photos and someone would say, I love that you did that video. I love that you're kind of considering how to help agents. And that never really occurred to me as something all that unusual, but it meant so much. And I think what it did was it communicated how much I cared about helping that agent. I wasn't just a photographer out there trying to say, hey, just, you're lucky to have my photos. I cared about the agents I was working with. All right, so we've broken down pretty quickly the offer, how we're communicating that, kind of the 2 groups of ways to communicate. So let's get practical. And above all, we are trying to connect and add value, in my opinion, whether it's one-to-one, one-to-many, and whatever you're actually telling people. If you can build a connection, build an audience, and add value in some way, I think that is I think there's a correlation there. The more you connect, sorry for the bad handwriting, and add value, the more business you're going to get. I really believe that. That is hardly readable, but we're going to leave that there for now. So, how can you get started doing this? Get on social. If you are not on social yet, get on social. As a base minimum, you should be posting your work and collaborate with agents who you're doing the work for. It's a great way to get additional exposure. Post yourself. Make videos, at least introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm in this location, I've been doing this for so many years, and I love working with real estate agents to help you build your business and market your brand or whatever it is. Post value. It does not take a whole lot of time for you as the media professional to say, what do agents need to know? How could I help them improve their business? Write down 10 talking points, make 10 videos, really, really simple. The most important thing is that you're providing value for the agent on the other side of the camera. And that is such an easy way to get started. Just say, what do these people need to know? How could their businesses improve based on what I know? Follow agents and engage with them. Just Google or find a list or search on Instagram, whatever. It's not that hard. Look up agents, look up agencies, find all the agents, follow them, engage with posts, but be human about it. Don't just like a ton of posts and say, oh, looks cool, looks cool. Find a way to be a human and make a connection with them. Hey, love that you were at this spot. That's one of my favorite restaurants. Or send them a message. Hey, just wanted to say hi. I'm a local photographer. Don't be so salesy right out of the gate. Again, the goal is to build a connection and a relationship with them. Now, I'm not against a cold outreach strategy. I think you can do that, but before that, consider just making relationships with people. I wish I had done more of this early on to build my brand because I know it would be a whole lot farther along than it is now. Lastly, this one is easy, and this is a huge missed opportunity if you're not doing this. Message all of your new followers. As you start to get new agents following you, reach out. Hey, thanks for the follow. What area do you work in? How long you been in the industry? Something, again, a genuine, if you met this person on the street, what would you ask them? This is a great way to quickly, easily build connection and trust with people. All right, getting on social. That is the first no-brainer if you do nothing else. Get on social. Some one-to-one advice. If this is going to be virtual, let's start here. You can, again, follow people on social, send them a message. Great way to do it. Or cold DMs. That can work too. Have a strong offer and make it a personal message as much as possible. Hey, I saw that you're in the same area, or I live in the same town. I live over by this. I'd love to offer you a free video or a free photo shoot or this or that. That can work. When I got started, I did that to probably every agent in the state over the course of probably 6 months. And I still get messages today of people responding years later. Crazy. Text. Find people's information. Find listings. If you drive by a listing, find their information, text them, or find photos on Zillow or Redfin or wherever agents are posting their stuff. If you see photos, just reach out. Say, hey, I saw your photos, would love to shoot a video. Again, it's just a way to make that connection and make your offer your promotion. Give them a call. Even better if you can get someone on the phone. I know most of us hate cold calling. Most people hate cold calling. So I don't blame you, but it's a great way to stand out and build that connection. Email, this one's really tough. I don't really recommend this, but I did it. And if you think about it, if you're really trying to make a difference, send them a text, give them a call, shoot them a message. Hey, just want to say hi. Just want a friendly reminder about this promotion I'm running, whatever it is. In person. This is my favorite one. If you really, really want to get in there and make some connections, email brokerages, agencies, teams, whatever. Say, hey, I'm a photographer in the area. I would love to take photos of your next team event, marketing event, whatever, open house at no charge. You get to go to that event and you get to meet everyone there, probably 10, 50, 100 agents at some of these events. It's a great way to get exposure for basically a set of photos, a couple hours of your time. Stop in offices. some agencies work different, where one agent's responsible for their own individual marketing, which is more common here in Maine. But there's also agencies where the entire agency or team, the marketing content is paid for by the agency or team. And so they're all kind of under one roof. So if you can stop in and meet someone there, you might get the entire agency's business. That's happened for us. It's a great way. And you'd be amazed how stopping in, saying hi in person, they've never had that from a photographer. And that sets you apart. Takes 10 minutes. Bonus tip I didn't have here. We have these nice kind of printed out little description about who we are and a little promo on the back, 30% off your first listing, whatever. It's just nice to give them something that's high quality, that shows what you do and gives them a little bit of a taste of your work. Last piece here, and I'm gonna be really honest with these pieces. I think so many agency owners don't have enough perspective on how important marketing is for your agency and for your future. I came from, I had a few different jobs before I started my agency. Right out of college, I got started with a financial services company. I got my financial licenses, my investing licenses, and I was all set. And I thought, why aren't people calling me? Why is the phone not ringing? And I didn't know any of this. And ultimately, a lack of clients is why I left to do something else. Part of me didn't like marketing, and part of me didn't like marketing that type of service, where it was really hard for me to differentiate myself from anyone else selling other similar investment products. But anyways, I knew that if I ever went into a different business, I had to market so I could get customers or clients. Otherwise, I was going to see the same thing. So when I got started, I knew my livelihood, me being able to continue or feed my family, was going to be dependent on me being able to get clients. I saw this as an incredibly serious matter. I didn't even have the perspective of I could grow a business. I just thought, I want to make enough money to feed my family as a solo photographer. If you consider what proper marketing could do for your future, I promise you would not brush it off. You would not prefer to do something else. You would not say, I'll get to it later. I think most people do not have a proper perspective on marketing. And if they did, they would be more serious about it. But because of that, I think a lot of businesses just fail because of poor marketing, or agencies don't grow, or whatever the case is, they don't have a proper perspective on marketing. And I believe that most people know the things they should be doing, but they don't really get it. So that's why I'm saying this here, because I think if people really got it, they would do it. For us, my whole perspective when I got started was, if I am not out taking photos, I am doing something to get that next job. If I bring on a new photographer and they're not as busy as I want them to be, my entire focus is to go out and market. And I've since learned that it's really important to build the right systems and do some of those things rather than just get more business in the door. But I took this seriously, and I credit a focus on marketing to where my business has grown to. I have some other thoughts that I can't fit all in this video, because ultimately, if you have a really, really, really strong offer, I think it can sell itself. And I think it can create this great referral network that you don't have to market as much. We have had a steady growth in new clients because I believe we just have a strong offering. That being said, if you create this incredible offering and you just sit on it, people aren't going to find you through Google. You're not going to just pick up new clients. They're not just going to come find you because they don't know about you. You could have the best thing in the world, but if they don't know about you, you're not going to get the business. So that pretty much covers the first point. Nothing matters more at a certain point than marketing your agency. I wish I could just drill that into some people's heads. And I try to say it nicely. If you message me and you said, hey, I'm trying to grow my agency, I'm not going to jump to this point right away, But I've seen this for so many people that I've had this conversation with of, hey, how can I get more clients? You're not taking this seriously enough. All right. You need to think like a business owner. For creatives, getting involved and having your own creative business is a dream come true. And it's so easy to think like a photographer. I don't want to market. I just want to take photos. If you don't think like a business owner, you will not have a business. Think about Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or Alex Hormozi. If those guys had your agency, they would take marketing more seriously. So when I think about that, when I think, what would one of these guys do if they were in my position? They would run it like a business. They would not run it like I'm just a photographer. I want to do the things I like to do. If you want to have an agency, a successful agency, you need to run it like a business. You need to understand your timeline. I still get messages years after sending that outreach. Now think about this practically. Most agents won't have more than 3, 4, 5 listings a year. If you reach out to Tim and Tim even likes what you have to offer, but he doesn't have a listing for 3 months, you're not going to get his business for another 3 months after you send that message. I had a lot of people save my message and wait, and they told me, I'm going to come back to you. And some people would say after the fact, after they booked us, I saw your message and I was just waiting for the listing. So if you send out 10 messages, 100 messages, whatever, and you don't get any business, that's just part of it. You just have to wait. And it's not fun, but that's just part of it. And you have to follow up. I've had this conversation that blows my mind where someone worked with me once and then they didn't work with me again until later down the road. And they said, oh yeah, I forgot about you. I just booked my other guy because that's what I'd always done. I just forgot to book with you basically. So don't get discouraged. You could have an incredible message and an incredible offer, but again, it just takes time. So have patience. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Volume. If any of you are Alex Hormozi fans, you've probably heard this. When he was talking about opening his first gym, a mentor of his said, you got to just do flyers under windshield wipers. So he did flyers and then nothing really happened. And he came back to the guy and said, hey, I did it. It didn't work. The guy said, well, how many did you do? And he said, I don't know, 500. The guy said, I do 5,000 just to test. And then I do another, 20 or 50,000 after that. I can't remember the exact numbers, but the point was he didn't do nearly enough volume. I sent every agent in the state a message, a cold DM. And it took time. It did work, but it took time. And I think we all underestimate just how much work it can take to do some of this stuff. So we had a VA on our team who helped send these messages. It's a trade-off. Whether you take time to make it more personal, probably do that with a higher producing agents versus just sending a whole bunch of random agents, a message. But it takes volume. Whatever method you're doing, do more of it. I promise. All right. Have a schedule for yourself. Marketing it can be so difficult to get to, especially when you're busy. You need to schedule it out. Block time to get this done. And these two kind of go together. Some is better than nothing. You'll probably schedule it. Something's going to come up. You're going to get half done of what you wanted to do. Still happens to me, but I keep going. I keep pushing. I keep trying to get it done and making a little bit of progress. So something is better than nothing. Some is better than nothing. So keep after it. Put it in your calendar to do a little bit each day or each week. This last one, no shortcuts. I don't really know how to explain this, but for me, I understand there are only so many people out there, and ultimately it comes down to a volume game and an offering game, I think, because if you had everyone who had the exact same service, the people who market better are going to get the business. All right, now the playing field's equal again. Everyone is doing the same amount of marketing. It's probably going to be the agency that does more marketing that gets the business. If it's still the same, the one who's going to do it better is going to get the business. So at the end of the day, if you can do more marketing, you can do better marketing, you can have a better offering. If you can beat your competitors on every level, you will get the business. This isn't it's just not that complicated, I don't think. And to be honest, so many other agency owners are making it easy on these bigger agencies that have figured it out. It's like, hey, if you're not going to market, I'm going to market and I'm going to get these clients. So I just see it as kind of like the hardest worker wins. And I know there's more to it than that, but there's definitely an element. There's definitely an element of just do it, just work hard, just get out there and grind. And it does pay off. I promise you. And my perspective is I just want to outwork the other guy. And maybe that's, not the way you think about your work, but I know at the end of the day, if I want to win, I want to grow, I want to feed my family, and I want to pursue my dreams, I'm just going to outwork them. And that there is an element to that. And to be honest, when you are in a local business, you are not competing against people nationally. It's so much easier to succeed at outworking people in a local area. It just is. So to wrap this up, this is way longer than I thought it would be, but proper expectations. You deserve nothing. They don't need you. When you're reaching out to an agent, don't think, oh, they're going to be lucky to have me. Like, oh, they're finally going to use my photos, or this agent's probably been waiting for me to send them a message. Guys, good agents are so busy. They have no time. They're just trying to get their work done. They're focused on their clients, as they should be. If you have this perspective or this air that, man, they're going to be lucky to finally get to work with me. No. Even if you're that much better than their photographer, if you position yourself as some sort of esteemed, better than them, I don't need them, or again, they're going to be lucky to have me, that is not going to work. It doesn't work. That's not the way to go about this. You must add value. Again, I think if you are just sending a message, hey, here's my profile, would love to work with you, agents are going to just delete that in a second. If they're doing well, they have something that's working. They have a great relationship with a photographer. And that's not all the time, but that's the majority of cases. Once in a while, you'll hit someone at the right time, like, oh yeah, my photographer just moved, or they just retired, or whatever the case. And it's great. I'd love to check you out. But for the most part, the agents worth working with probably have someone. You need to offer value if you want a chance at earning their business. It's just that simple. And this needs to be your promotion, free videos for life, or your general offer. I offer agency services A to Z. No one else in the area offers this. We can serve you better. It's that simple. I think the greater your value is, the greater someone else is to work with you. And I know giving away free shoots is tough when you're just getting started, but sometimes that's not even enough. But you think the lifetime value of your client, if you have your business for 10 years, they do 5 shoots a year with you at $500, at $2,500 a year for 5 years, that's $12,500. That's a lot of money for giving away one shoot, $250, whatever. Consider the opportunity. Consider how many agents they probably know and they could refer you. And again, the more value you can offer, the more likely you are to get them as a client. You can't just check the box. This is not I sent out my cold DMs for the day. There's an element of being disciplined enough to do the work, but this is a piece of your business that you need to take seriously if you want to succeed and grow. You might hear about some agencies who just never really had to market. They just kind of grew. It just happened for them. We've had some of that. Again, I think our offer was that valuable that we got referrals. But I think it's both. When you combine a agency that has an incredible value mixed with a great marketing strategy, that's when things really blow up. That's what we're working on for 2026, by the way, is creating this new offer that, again, we've had so much kind of momentum. Once we can get this new offer and actually start marketing it, I think it's going to be big. But anyways, that's my honest advice. I don't usually get quite this candid or passionate about things, but it's just you hear the questions over and over again. I've heard it from people. How do I grow? I try not to make assumptions about what they've done or haven't done, but at the end of the day, you have to work hard at this. You have to treat this like a business. You need a proper perspective to say, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to play the long game. I'm not just going to, just check the box. Well, I sent 10 cold DMs, so I should have people reaching out. And then if they don't, well, it didn't work for me. Figure it out, work hard and get it done. And that's how you'll grow. Hope this was helpful. If it was, if you have questions, please leave a comment. If there's something else you'd like me to touch on, please let me know. Follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.